Okay, so you guys might be asking yourself, well, what the heck happened? The last 2 weeks you've been not producing any new shows. Well, a couple things have been going on. One, went on a little short vacation. I'll show you some videos later. But the next thing is the thing I was working on when I stopped making videos was I was trying to fix my vacuum cleaner. Well, trying to fix the vacuum cleaner, I needed my 3D printer. Well, my 3D printer crapped out. I don't know what the heck is wrong with it. Contacted them, and they said, well, clean everything out. Well, I cleaned everything out. It still is printing like crap. So, what is my goal today? Today, I'm going to try to fix that thing with first item is new tip. Second item, new hot end. If that doesn't work, then I got a new extruder. So we'll find out if the replaceable parts will fix this printer. And I also got some new, straight from the manufacturer, filament. So let's go hook this stuff all up and see if we can fix this printer.
Me and the boys was sitting around drinking, we was talking about things that we was thinking, when all of a sudden what comes out of Bill's mouth? Said I'm getting old and fat and slow, and I don't recover like I did before from nights of rabble, rousing and too much fun. Well, I looked around and we all agreed, and I had a drink and I ordered 3, and I staggered back to do it all again. Then we made an oath on a rum and coke with the best intention, I'm sure you know, that we would stop this living in excess. We're gonna have one more party, one more special occasion. Do it Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, holidays and weekends. We can have one more party. There's more hell we should be raising. One more party now, one more party tonight.
All right, I'm imagining the first step is to take the cover off, or the fan off. Yeah, you can see how this thing has just been spitting out, crappy, next to nothing. Then we're going to, let's take this rubber thing off. All right, and let's find out if it's the tip. So we're going to take the tip off. Come on. Oh, wait. I bet this thing probably has to be warm without any filament in it. So here, let's squeeze this back in and unload it first. All right, power it up. Oops, did I just power it off? There we go. All right, push down on that thing, pull up on this thing, and snip that. And we wait. All right, go to the load and hit load. That should heat up the element and then spit out whatever is remaining. Yep, you can see a little bit's coming out of there. We'll hit load again to see if we can make sure it all comes out. But notice how stringy this stuff is and how it really doesn't come out smoothly. Alright, that should be pretty much everything, right? Okay. Gonna go complete, and then we're gonna let this thing cool off a little bit. So I'm gonna shut it off and grab the wrench again. And that's probably going to be hot. So guess what? We're going to use a pair of gloves. Alright, this was an aftermarket Amazon tip. I can't remember the manufacturer, but I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a try. But now we got the fresh from the manufacturer Qidi tips. And let's see what she does. Now, can't be hot now, right? It's a new one. There we go. Get that strung in there. The ceramic thing's still warm, so I'm going to use gloves here to finish this up. All right, tips in there, put the rubber dealy back on. Clean up the excess filament. Put the cover back on with the fan. Pull out a little more filament. let this warm up, and then we'll load. And this is Qidi filament, so they were telling me that maybe I should just try to run without the loader. So we're going to unwind this thing all the way out of there. And not use the container or the dryer. And we're going to unhook the dryer from the back of the filament, or the sensor that tells you whether or not it's out of filament. So that's out of the way. Now we're going to put the filament just on the roll and run it back through the runout sensor. And if you're looking, there it is. Alright, there's the filament. Alright, now we're going to go over to the front screen here, and we're going to tell it to load. We're going to tell it to load, and we're going to come in here and put it in place, and we'll find out just how good it is once it warms up. Okay, had to turn off the video so I could turn it back so I could get the screen working again, because I had it automatically turn off after 3 seconds. Oh, there we go, it's starting to pull in. And you can see it's spitting a little bit out, but it should be spitting out a lot more than that. So I'm going to hit retry. And look how it's just barely coming out. Oh, now it's starting to go a little bit faster. We'll go one more time. Yeah, it really doesn't seem to be spitting out as evenly as it should. So, we're going to get rid of this. And, alright, let's run a test. So we're going to come in here and run the benchy. And let's watch this thing and see how it, well, wait. Let's go back and let's verify that the Z offset is working properly. Is the nozzle clean? No, because it's still spitting crap out. Okay. Okay, I got the sensor, or the piece of paper, for how thick it's supposed to be. Even though I've set this a number of times, it seems that I gotta always move it up 0.8 millimeters. I'll come back up over here. Nozzle, platform and nozzle are initializing. Okay, now it wants me to adjust. So we're going to stick this underneath here and you can see how loose that is. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to move this up to the same number I've always moved it up, which is 0.8. And then we'll look at the offset. Okay. It's not super tight, it's not super loose, but it seems to be okay. Maybe we'll go another half. Maybe another half. Okay, now it's fairly snug. We'll put that away and we'll say done. Now it's saving the Z offset. Now I should be able to come in and we'll run a test with the benchy. And it's already got bed leveling on there, so I'm not going to bother with that. And now it's just going to heat up and go to the default settings. And then we'll watch and see. How well is this thing going to print? This is going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to pause the video. Okay, now the bed's finally warmed up, it's leveling. Okay, now the tip is heating up. I'm just going to get this dryer out of the way. Well, that seems to be going really high. Okay, it didn't print. The first layer, it seems to have just not even bothered to print. Or the first half of the first layer, it didn't bother to print. Well, maybe We'll see. Oh, it's still going. Maybe it was the tip. Although it doesn't seem to be hatching very well across through the middle, does it? Yeah, it started out okay, but now that it's getting on to layer 2 and 3, and 5 and 6, it's getting a lot stringier. It's like the tip is losing its heat. Or it's not getting any. I'll give you guys a look from this side. Kind of see there, it is not all that great. Now see, look at that, it just completely failed. It gets up there 2 layers, 3 layers, and then now it's barely printing. It's not spitting anything out. It's just not working worth the crap. That is not what I'm expecting from, this thing. Alright, so we know it's not the tip because we put a brand new tip from the manufacturer in there, and this is a complete failure. Okay, let's push stop. Push stop, confirm. Give you guys a good look at what it's doing. Look, that's not supposed to be printing like this at all. This is garbage. I mean, look how light this is. Definitely started out okay, but went to pure crap then. Okay, well, let's try replacing the hot end. Okay, so I got a new hot end, and it comes with a couple new screws. So we're going to take the old hot end off and replace it with this new one. To do that, you use an Allen wrench and you take these two screws out, and you have to go around the back side over here and take, here, let me move this, and we have to take these 4 screws out here, here, down there, and over here. So let's take the back cover off. Are you touching it? It doesn't feel like it. Yeah, let's take this side off first. Am I using the right size Allen wrench? Doesn't seem to fit when it's the wrong size, huh? Luckily this thing came with Allen wrenches. And I think it's all the ones that are supposed to fit here. Ah, yep, there's this one. So this one's a little bit smaller. It's not the smallest one that they give you, because here's the smallest one they give me. Ooh, that light is blinding, isn't it? Let's take this and, yeah, maybe we can shut this one off. There. Take these screws out. There's one. And drop. Tiny little things. Where did it go? Of course I can't see it or find it. Lost forever, huh? Ah, here it is. Alright, we'll set that down there. Take this top one out on this side. Well, you'd think they'd be easier to get out of there. There, it's finally coming. Okay, got the next one. Now there's one down here on the bottom. Of course I dropped it. Where'd it go? Great. I found it. It's way back here. Underneath in the middle of the plate where it's almost impossible to get to. Alright. It's amazing how that stuff can transform and go straight through a solid piece of metal. there's the third one. And we'll go over to this side, get the fourth one, and then we'll take the back cover off. Of course, this big plastic door doesn't make it easy. Where'd it go? Oh, that's weird. Oh, it's still stuck in there. All right. So that plate is off of there. Now we have to disconnect the wires to the hot end, which is this one, and the outer two. So it's the blue one and the white one. See if I can get my fingers around that. There we go. Now the hot end is free on this side. Now we swing back to the front. And now that we're at the front, we can take these two screws out, if you guys can see. Of course, this wire is going to want to always, or this filament tube is going to want to always be in the way. And we'll take these two off. These come out a lot easier than the ones in the plastic. Okay, one screw, two screws. Now we just slide this thing forward, I think. Oh wait, slide it down and then it comes out. Okay, now notice, you would have thought feeding it out would have gotten rid of all of this, but it's still stuck in there and it didn't come out very far. So there's still a chunk of filament still hanging off the back end of that. All right, let's put in the new one. So here's the new one. We're just going to set it up in here. It's going to fit in there very easy. There we go. Might as well use the new screws that came with it. There we go, the first one's set in. There we go, the second one's in. Now we just run these two down to tight. And the wire's still hanging off the back. I don't want to pinch them. They appear to be hanging. Let's plug them in while we're back here. That way we know they're not getting messed up. We hook up the rest of it. If I can get them in there. Where's this blue one? Here's the blue one. That just plugs in. Then the white one, that just plugs in. Maybe. Does it plug in the other way? Wouldn't think so. Maybe it does plug in 180 degrees out of where I was trying to. Yep. That just snaps in place, and then this black one plugs in on top. You can get these knee hooks in there in a way that they actually work. Oh, that's not easy to plug in. There, I might. Do I have it? Thought I did. Nope. That ain't it. Need more light from this side. There, oop, almost had it. Plus I'm not left-handed. Ah, why is that so hard to plug in? Much other junk on the back side here, and I can't get my fingers into position to actually get it to plug in and hold on to it. I think I got it. There, it finally went in. Okay, so if you guys are curious, it's this black one here that's very tough to get lined up, to get slid in here and get the clip on in place. Alright, now we can put the back on, which you just feed the wires up from the bottom and put all this stuff in. it's getting started. Okay, there's one started. Now let's start on this top one up here. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Why do they make this so difficult? And I can't reach my hand in there to see. I can't even see. Where did that drop to? Oh, great. Lost. Did it slip underneath? Let's see it underneath. Okay guys, I gotta fish around for a screw that dropped somewhere. Hey guys at Qidi, or Qidi, or whatever the hell you call your name. Where the heck is the thing to raise and lower this bed so that I can get my hand in there to get stuff out from underneath it when it drops? Where? Where the heck is it? I don't see it here. This here just wants to heat up the nozzle. I don't see anything here. This wants to heat up the bed. This wants to heat up the chamber. These wants to turn on fans. Where's raise and lower the bed? No, it's not here on this screen. No, it's, well, here's a Z. What does this thing do? Does this move? What does that do? Well, that's moving a thing I don't want it to. This ain't doing squat. Oh, there it's finally going up. Now how do I get it to stop? Okay. Now where the heck happened to that screw I lost in here? Oh, I think I found it. Stop! You piece of garbage! I don't want you to do anything anymore and you're still messing around. Good God, who the hell invented this? You need to be smarter about how you make these things. You got to have things for raising and lowering this bed. Ah, frustration. I think I finally fished that screw out, but it's now underneath the thing. Okay, I just had to stop it because I needed to do some emergency stuff, but I got the back screws back in place. Now I'm tightening up the screws on the front. And they're tightening. So far so good. Okay. Snug and snug. Okay, let's turn it back on and see if we can not, oh, wait. Next step, put the front cover back on. Hope I didn't break it when the thing smashed it. Yeah, you need to put a bed raising and lowering button on this thing, people. Okay, let's turn this back on. Alright, everything's back together. Now we gotta load the filament. Wait for the nozzle to heat up. Okay, There, it's finally loading. Maybe. Alright, a little bit spitting out on the bottom. Okay. Now that's completed. Let's do the Z offset again. Nothing on the bed. Alright, really loose, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, wow, that's really loose, 0.1, 0.2, oh, there it's starting to drag a little bit, 1.2 now. There we go, there's 1.3, nice and snug. Alright. Next. Okay. Trying the benchy again. Play, confirm. I think that first run through I might have used the wrong G code, so I'm using the other one this time. Bed's heating up. Well, here I'm going to shut this or pause the video again because it's going to take a few minutes to heat everything back up. Alright, now the bed's heated up. And now the nozzle needs to heat up while it's leveling. We'll find out if it's the hot end or the extruder now. So we got a brand new hot end and a brand new tip. And it says it was loaded. And if you're wondering why I left so much out of the tube, I wanted to see if there's something with that tube that's slowing it down or causing it to not pull through. Well, which could be part of the problem if it's the extruder too. I figure if it prints that whole piece without any issues, then it should go. Why is it? It seems awful warm. I'm going to cancel this. Stop, confirm. Got two benchies on here, and I think one was when I was trying to see if the hot end was bad, so I was overheating it because nothing was coming out of it. And now I don't know which one is the one that they deliver. Maybe they're both the same. Maybe I should try something completely different. Wow, it's taking forever to stop processing too. Well, I'm going to pause this while I wait for this thing to do whatever it's doing. Okay, this time I'm just going to do the Qidi +3 G code. Let's see what it does. See, look how poorly it's printing. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but it's not printing hardly anything. And look at how it's not coming through here either. It's not feeding. And it's not coming through very well there either. And it's kind of scraping it all the way along that. It's just terrible. Look how bad that prints. You would have thought a lot more would have been printed through this thing already. Let's go through a few layers and see. Yeah, there's just nothing coming through there. It's like not spitting hardly anything out, and then there's some globs. But it's just awful. And then the extruder, once it gets there, it's like it can't pull anything through, and it's just junk. Yeah, that ain't printing. It ain't printing anything. What's wrong with this piece of junk? Well, we got one more part that we can try, and that's the extruder, because it's definitely, the hot end didn't seem to help, and the tip didn't seem to help. It's just like it ain't pulling any filament through. Yeah, if you think that's a good print, Qidi, you're fooling yourself. This is crap. But I thought I'd let it finish, just to see just how good a quality this thing can do after 6 months of use. You guys tell me if you think this is worth the money. And I didn't even use it heavy. I mean, a couple times a week and maybe I printed something. And it went from being a great printer to what you're seeing here. Give you a different view. See any filament coming out of there? I don't.
It's not balling up, it's not doing anything. It's just not feeding. Well, it's feeding a little bit, just a little glob, but not nearly enough.
And is that pulling? No. You would think a lot more filament would be running through this, but nope.
That's your high quality printer there, buddy.
There she is. What do you think, guys? Is that awesome or what? You can expect prints just that good from your Qidi printer after 6 months of seldom use. That is so good, ain't it? It was supposed to look like something that looks like this. But what it looks like is that. I don't know. If that's what you want out of a printer after 6 months, you know, and I contacted them, responded to them. They sent back an email pretty quick the first time, told me to clean it. I cleaned it. Now what do I get? I get that. Frustrating, frustrating, frustrating. Okay, one last chance. Can we get this thing to work by replacing the extruder? Well, we'll find out. I've already removed the filament, so I should be able to do this one without taking the back off. The extruder all comes from the front. And I need to take the two screws out from the hot end, and it's this piece here that we're replacing. All right, first screw's out. Second screw is out. Pull the hot end off. There's still some filament in there, see? Didn't extract all of it again. Okay, now there are 2 or 3 screws that hold this thing in. Well, one there, and yeah, maybe it's those 2. Is it this one? Nope. It's the same one that takes the screws off the back of this thing. Okay, there's one. Okay, here's two. Here's what the extruder looks like. Yeah, I don't know why this thing don't work, or I don't know if this is the problem, but I got a new one of those too. Which it's here. Seems like it's a little tighter. We'll find out. But that goes in there. And they do give new screws for it. So let's use the new screws because the old ones aren't that great. If I can get it open and not lose them. Looks like they give new hot end screws too. Two new hot end screws and two new screws and washers, which I'm going to put the washers on. So hopefully I don't lose them. And then let's run, oops, yeah, I lost one already. Let's try to get that on there. All right, got the washer on it. Now this thing goes in here with the feet end up. But it might be easier to put the screw in before I try to set it up there. Okay, there's one. Dang it. Ah! God dang it. Where the heck does all this stuff keep... Why does it keep dropping? They use such tiny little, tiny things. And they all fall. And then they disappear. Where did it go? And I don't see it anywhere. It's just a piece of plastic. Well, luckily it came with her, I have the old ones. So maybe I'll just use those, or use one of those. They should actually give you about 5 extras, as tiny as these things are. Okay. What? You gotta be kidding me. But I see this one. But the washer fell off. You gotta... This is the toughest thing in the freaking world, trying to get these little screws in. All this tiny little stuff. Oh, can I get it in? All right. We'll tighten up the 2 screws. I don't know where the rest of that stuff went, but it just kind of disappeared. Here's the new hot end. You know what? I'm going to snip the end of that off because guess what? I can't get it back in there and it didn't feed out before. Which, of course I can't. Okay, let's see if I can get this in here now. Oops, I need the bigger one. You know what? I'm going to loosen up the extruder. So that I can get the hot end in there easier. I think I got one of them semi-started. Or maybe the other one. Okay, those are semi-snug. Now we'll snug the extruder back up. Okay, that's snug. Now we'll snug the hot end up. I hope this is the problem because I've run out of ideas if it ain't this. Okay. Put the cover back on. And let's see what we can do. Power on. I'm going to load the film in and I'll be back when that's all done. Okay. Fed the first piece through. Let's try it again. It appears to be loading a little better. and it's pulling it off the reel. Alright. Come on, let go. Alright, shall we give her a test and see if it'll print anything? Alright, back to the one we did last time, which is that symbol thing. And you saw how bad it was last time. Let's fish that off the end. And let's print. But wait, cancel. We need to probably calibrate this thing now, right? After we've taken it all apart. And let's do an auto bed leveling. And when I get that done, we'll run another print and we'll see how good it is. Alright guys, let's give it a shot and see what she'll do. Well, that's definitely starting to look better. I mean, that's the best start that I've seen in a month. Well, let's let this thing finish and then we'll find out for sure whether or not that fixed it. Well, the battery ran out on my DVI Action 3 after that amount of time. But looking at this, I think we got a fix on the Qidi printer. It actually printed this time, and it didn't look like garbage. So, don't expect the extruder to last very long on this thing. 6 months with moderate use. But replaced it, now it's working similar to new again.
Me and the boys were sitting around drinking, we was talking about things that we was thinking, when all of a sudden what comes out of Bill's mouth? Said I'm getting old and fat and slow, and I don't recover like I did before from nights of rabble, rousing and too much fun. Well, I looked around and we all agreed, and I had a drink and I ordered 3, and I staggered back to do it all again. Then we made an oath on a rum and coke with the best intention, I'm sure you know, that we would stop this living in excess. We're gonna have one more party, one more special occasion.